Go!
The Mariana Trench, plunging over 7 miles beneath the ocean's surface, stands as one of Earth's most inhospitable environments. Despite its extreme isolation, this abyss harbors numerous mysteries. From ghostly fish lacking visible eyes to bacteria that consume oil, the trench is home to some of the most bizarre and unsettling creatures ever discovered. Let's explore 20 of the most frightening finds from the depths of the Mariana Trench. Number 20. The Colossal Squid. The Colossal Squid is one of the most elusive and mysterious creatures lurking in the deep water surrounding Antarctica. It's the largest invertebrate on Earth, with some specimens reaching up to 45 feet long and weighing nearly 1,500 pounds. For reference, this squid is almost as long as a semi-trailer. Can you imagine how terrifying it must be to see these creatures in person? Aside from its size, this deep-sea giant boasts several incredible features, including the most enormous eyes in the animal kingdom, measuring up to 12 inches in diameter. These eyes help it spot prey in the dark depths. As if that's not enough, nature also gave them rotating hooks on their arms and tentacles, which they use to grasp and capture prey like the Patagonian toothfish and other large species of the deep. We've never seen them in their habitat, and the specimens we've seen so far are all lifeless, so we can only assume that the colossal squid is an ambush predator that lies in wait for prey to pass by before striking with its powerful beak and hooks. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that we only discovered that the colossal squid still exists thanks to sperm whales? The colossal squid is so elusive that most of what we know about it comes not from direct observation but from the stomachs of its predators, primarily sperm whales. Although humans observe them in relatively shallow waters, sperm whales can dive up to 10,000 feet for up to 60 minutes. One of the reasons sperm whales dive is to prey upon colossal squid. Sperm whales are the colossal squid's main predator, and these two giants engage in epic battles deep below the ocean's surface. Researchers have found sperm whales covered in scars believed to be inflicted by the squid's rotating hooks, which are located on its arms and tentacles. Sometimes we even find hooks and tentacles still attached to sperm whales. Despite their terrifying appearance and enormous size, we know surprisingly little about colossal squid, which makes them all the more terrifying. Number 19. The Faceless Fish. Why go through the effort of seeing and growing a pair of eyes when it's dark where you live anyway? That's the thought process of the faceless cusk. Probably first discovered during the historic HMS Challenger expedition in 1874, the faceless cusk is a type of cusk, a fish family known for its elongated bodies. For over a century, this fish remained an enigma until it was rediscovered off the coast of Australia in 2017. Living at depths between 13,000 and 16,000 feet, this fish has adapted to extreme environments, including crushing pressures and near-freezing temperatures. This fish has eyes, but the problem is that they're positioned beneath its skin, which means they're not very helpful for seeing in the already dark abyss. This fish thrives in a barren environment where few creatures dare to live, surviving on whatever nutrients it can find at such profound depths. With their habitat, there are still many things we don't know about these creatures, and scientists hope to observe them more in their natural habitats. Number 18. Zombies craving for bones. In 2002, scientists discovered a decaying whale carcass on the ocean floor, the first time we had observed real zombies in the abyss. I'm not talking about regular zombies, but rather ones that are craving for bones. Meet the ostacs or zombie worms. These creatures in the abyss feast on the occasional whale fall at the bottom of the ocean. Now you're probably wondering how they can consume bones. It's pretty simple actually. These creatures secrete an acid that dissolves whale bones, allowing them to access the nutritious fats and proteins hidden within. The thing is, ostacs don't have mouths, guts, or even stomachs, so how on earth do they digest what they eat? They absorb nutrients with the help of symbiotic bacteria in their root-like tissues. The microorganisms attach to these worms to digest the bone matter for them. Though they're best known for scavenging whale bones, zombie worms have been found devouring the bones of fish and even cow remains. Human remains? Well, it hasn't been observed yet, but I bet they won't even notice the difference. If their diet wasn't strange enough, the males are microscopic and live inside the females, never maturing past the larval stage. Hundreds of males can be found in just one female, living inside them just for reproduction. Number 17. A new virus lurking deep in the abyss. Given what's happened in recent years, it's natural that many of us are wary of viruses, and that's what scientists discovered in the Mariana Trench in 2023. This virus is known as VB_HMEY H49_7, which is quite a mouthful of a name. It was found at the bottom of the ocean, 5 miles below sea level within the Mariana Trench. Today, this virus is the deepest known organism of its kind, sitting at a depth of around 29,200 feet. But what exactly does this organism do underwater down in the abyss? It preys on bacteria, specifically those from the Halomonas family, bacteria that are known to survive in harsh places like hydrothermal vents and even break down oil spills. This discovery revealed an abundant viral family in the ocean, but do we have to worry about these microorganisms infecting us anytime soon? While there are many viruses in the abyss, they thrive in their isolated environment, which means we're safe, at least for now. Number 16. Scientists detect mercury 6 miles in the ocean. It seems like oil isn't the only pollutant that made its way into the deepest parts of the ocean. Recently, researchers discovered that toxic mercury pollution has now reached the deepest parts of our planet's oceans, including the Mariana Trench, more than 6 miles beneath the surface. Two independent research teams, one from China and the other from the US, have found alarming levels of methylmercury, a toxic form of mercury, in fish and crustaceans living at these extreme depths. This means mercury, primarily produced by human activities such as coal burning and industrial pollution, has spread across even the most remote ecosystems on Earth. But how could this toxic element reach so far into the ocean? It's not produced in the trench itself but sinks from the surface, carried down by the carcasses of fish and marine mammals or by particles falling through the water column. Once in the deep, this mercury is consumed by smaller organisms, which are then eaten by larger species, causing the toxic substance to accumulate in the food chain. This creates a dangerous cycle of bioaccumulation, where mercury concentrations increase as it moves up the chain, potentially impacting not just deep-sea ecosystems, but also human consumers who eat seafood from contaminated waters. Basically speaking, all that we dump down there in the ocean will come back to us in the end. Number 15. An underwater cockroach. Scared of cockroaches or anything that looks similar? I hate to break it to you, but there are also roaches in the ocean. This is the giant isopod, one of the most alien-looking creatures on the planet, resembling an oversized version of the pill bugs you might find in your garden. This deep-sea scavenger can grow to enormous sizes, up to 20 inches long, a phenomenon known as deep-sea gigantism. It lurks at depths of 500 to 7,000 feet in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. So if you're not a fan of how they look, rest assured you won't encounter them while swimming in shallow water. Even if one of these giant ocean bugs somehow ends up in shallow water alive and well, they pose no harm as they're only interested in scavenging, often snacking on lifeless marine animals like fish and whales on the ocean floor. See its large eyes? They use that to detect the faintest light in the pitch-black environment to hunt prey. And if today isn't their lucky day to hunt for food, it's not a big problem. Giant isopods have a slow metabolism that allows them to survive prolonged periods without food, sometimes up to 5 years in captivity without eating. When food is available, however, they gorge themselves, often to the point where they can barely move. Well, that's life right there. Number 14. Oil-eating bacteria in the Mariana Trench. In the deepest part of the Earth's oceans, the Mariana Trench, scientists have discovered a unique and highly specialized type of bacteria that can eat oil. Somewhat about 6.8 miles underwater, researchers discovered an oil-consuming bacteria. Not only that, but the region in the Mariana Trench where this oil-eating bacteria was found is now known as home to the highest concentration of hydrocarbon-consuming bacteria found anywhere on the planet. What exactly are these oil-eating microorganisms? These bacteria break down hydrocarbons, which are organic compounds commonly found in substances like crude oil and natural gas. Think about how we break down compounds in our food, except these bacteria somehow adapted to processing oil. Needless to say, this led to researchers eager to learn more about the microorganisms living in the deep blue. After all, if we could get our hands on this bacteria, we might be able to clean up oil spills in natural environments faster and safer. So what's scary about this? Isn't this good news? It might seem that way on the surface, but the presence of this bacteria means there's enough pollution and oil in the ocean for these organisms to adapt and consume it. Number 13. Plastic nearly 7 miles deep in the water. In 2019, Victor Vescovo made history by diving deeper than any human had ever gone before, reaching nearly 36,000 feet, about 7 miles below the ocean surface, into the Mariana Trench. His only goal was to explore the uncharted depths of the Challenger Deep, but what he found there was troubling. While Vescovo's team discovered new species such as prawn-like amphipods, they also found plastic. Yes, humanity's waste has affected the oceans 7 miles deep, where even sunlight can't penetrate. Despite being one of the most remote and hostile environments on Earth, even the Mariana Trench has not been spared from the scourge of plastic pollution. This discovery wasn't an isolated case. Earlier research documented at least 3,000 pieces of human-made debris in the trench, with plastic waste being common. Vescovo's expedition was a somber reminder that the ocean's vastness cannot shield it from the effects of human activity. Plastics, especially microplastics, are now found in deep-sea creatures, and the consequences of this contamination are still being studied. Number 12. the fish known for its ability to swallow fish larger than itself. You're looking at the black swallower, and its name alone should be enough to tell you that it's one of the most nightmarish creatures in the Mariana Trench. Just like snakes, the black swallower is a deep-sea predator known for its extraordinary ability to swallow prey much larger than itself, up to 10 times its own mass and more than twice its length. Found in the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones about 2,300 to 9,000 feet underwater, this fish did everything it could to survive in its harsh habitat. With a highly expandable stomach and jaws that can walk over the prey, this fish can engulf entire meals whole. But sometimes the black swallower bites off more than it can chew. Literally, if the fish it swallows is too large to digest quickly, the prey begins to decompose inside its stomach. This releases gases that bloat the swallower, causing it to float to the ocean's surface where it's often found lifeless with its stomach distended. Trust me, it can be a horrifying sight to those who aren't used to the realities of the ocean. In one famous case, a black swallower just 7.5 inches long was found off the coast of Grand Cayman in 2007. It had consumed a snake mackerel that was 34 inches long, over 4 times its size. Unfortunately, this massive meal likely led to its demise, as the gas buildup from the decomposing mackerel caused the swallower to float upwards. Guess we're lucky that these guys only grow several inches long. Imagine how catastrophic it would be if these guys somehow managed to increase in size. I just might never swim in the ocean again. Number 11. Giant amoeba. In 2011, giant amoebas known as xenophyophores were discovered in the Mariana Trench, more than 6.6 miles beneath the surface, one of the deepest parts of the ocean. These single-celled organisms are surprisingly massive for their kind, growing up to 4 inches long, which is quite unusual for creatures of their type. These xenophyophores have evolved to thrive in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, enduring crushing pressures, near-freezing temperatures, and complete darkness. They survive by trapping particles, including toxic heavy metals like lead and uranium, making them highly resilient. Deep underwater, these creatures thrive in entire ecosystems of smaller organisms that live within their structure. Their ability to survive and thrive under such extreme conditions makes them an exciting subject of study for scientists who want to understand the limits of life on Earth and possibly beyond. Number 10. The first person to visit space, both poles, and the deepest point of the ocean. The Mariana Trench is one of the most terrifying places on Earth. Located in the western Pacific Ocean, the trench plunges nearly 36,000 feet deeper than the highest mountain on land. Its depth is a place where the sun doesn't reach and where no human can withstand the pressure. At the bottom, you'd have to endure crushing 8 tons per square inch, more than 1,000 times the pressure at sea level, which would crush most submarines and humans instantly. This inhospitable environment, combined with the freezing temperatures and total darkness, makes it one of the planet's most extreme and eerie places. As of today, only a handful of humans have successfully reached its deepest point, known as the Challenger Deep. While 12 astronauts have walked on the lunar surface, this means we're more capable of reaching the moon in outer space than the deepest known trench in the ocean on the planet. The limited number of expeditions have left much of the trench unexplored, but Richard Garriott is among the few who could boast about exploring the Mariana Trench. Not only did Garriott fly to space in 2008 as one of the few private citizens to visit the International Space Station, but he also reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest known point on Earth, in 2021. Not only that, but he has also reached both the North and South Pole. His journey to the bottom of the ocean was a harrowing one. The dive lasted nearly 12 hours and reached almost 7 miles deep. After reaching the bottom, Richard left a geocache, a titanium plate marked with a secret word, known only to those who can prove they've reached the bottom of the ocean. What else did Garriott do down there in the ocean? Read poetry. That's right, you definitely need a lot of courage to dive into the abyss 7 miles below the surface only to leave a geocache and appreciate poetry. Number 9. Black Sea Devil, a creature from the abyss. The Black Sea Devil is one of the deep ocean's most terrifying creatures. Let me tell you, it lives up to its name. It can be found in the dark waters of the Pacific at depths of over 1,900 feet, where it lives with creatures as monstrous and as grotesque in appearance as it is. Its appearance is straight out of a horror movie: oversized sharp teeth, a gelatinous scaleless body, and a glowing lure dangling from its head that it uses to trick its prey in the ocean's pitch-black depths. The way it hunts is befitting its appearance. Despite being a mere 9 centimeters long, the Black Sea Devil is a great ambush predator. Females are equipped with a bioluminescent fishing rod extending from their heads. This lure glows in the darkness, attracting unsuspecting prey. Once a fish gets too close, the sea devil would reveal itself, but before the smaller fish could realize what's happening, it'll be inside the sea devil's mouth. While the females are large, male sea devils are drastically smaller and mature into parasites barely an inch in length. They latch onto the female with their teeth and fuse with her body. Once attached, they slowly atrophy, losing their eyes and organs. Their only purpose in life, helping the females reproduce. Number 8. Deep-sea hatchet fish. The deep-sea hatchet fish is one of the most monstrous creatures you'd ever see in the abyss, if humans can survive down there. That is, if you look at them from their side, they don't really look that bad, right? However, if you look at them from in front, you'll realize why they're known as one of the most terrifying creatures down there in the abyss. Yep, that's your sleep paralysis demon right there. Meet the deep-sea hatchet fish. This fella measures a mere 1 to 6 inches, and its most recognizable feature is its hatchet-shaped body, which is how it got its name. Although relatively small, it lives between 200 and 4,500 feet below the surface, primarily in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, mostly where sunlight never reaches. Just like most creatures in the deep sea, the hatchet fish is capable of bioluminescence. The hatchet fish has rows of light-producing organs called photophores on its belly, which help it perform counter-illumination by emitting light that matches the faint light filtering down from above. The hatchet fish becomes nearly invisible to predators lurking below. This trick makes it appear as if the fish is blending into its surroundings, a perfect camouflage in the twilight zone of the ocean. Now let's talk about their eyes, the monstrous voids they have for eyes. Its large tubular eyes are another adaptation for life in the deep sea. These eyes are highly sensitive to any bioluminescent light and allow the hatchet fish to spot prey from above in the darkness. At night, the hatchet fish ascends to shallower waters to feed on small crustaceans and plankton, using its quick reflexes and sharp teeth to snatch its prey. Despite its small size and short lifespan of about a year, the hatchet fish has thrived in the deep sea thanks to these incredible adaptations. However, with around 45 known species, this elusive fish continues to intrigue scientists, especially given the challenges of studying creatures that live in such extreme depths. Number 7. Real ocean monstrosity, deep-sea dragonfish. Despite its name, the deep-sea dragonfish is far from its namesake. This creature is far more monstrous than it sounds. These small but fierce fish thrive in pitch-black waters where light is almost non-existent. Found in the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, which start around 3,300 feet down. Like the sea devil, the dragonfish has a glowing lure that dangles from its chin, which it uses to attract prey. If its lure doesn't work, the dragonfish can emit red light, allowing it to see prey that other deep-sea creatures can't detect. Yet despite its ability to emit light, the dragonfish's skin is ultra-black, which absorbs over 99% of the light that hits it, making this creature nearly invisible in its environment. As if that's not enough to help the fish go incognito, its teeth are also transparent, reducing any chance of its prey noticing it until it's too late. Although dragonfish are small, often only about 6 inches long, their powerful jaws and expandable stomachs allow them to swallow prey much larger than themselves, making them formidable hunters despite their size. The dragonfish seems to have perfectly adapted to the harsh life down there in the abyss. Number 6. A fish with the odd eye, barrel eye. This is the barrel eye, and it has one of the most unique adaptations in the animal kingdom. Living in the mesopelagic zone about 2,000 to 2,600 feet below the surface, the barrel eye survives thanks to its transparent head and upward-facing eyes. Just as its name suggests, the barrel eye has glowing green tubular eyes capable of rotating within the fluid-filled dome of its head. This allows the fish to look upwards to spot prey and forward to track it once in range. It's as if the fish has built-in binoculars designed for deep-sea hunting. The transparent head of the barrel eye serves a specific purpose. It allows the fish to peer through its own forehead to detect faint silhouettes of prey in the dim light that trickles down from above. Researchers discovered that these eyes are incredibly sensitive, filtering out sunlight and helping the fish detect bioluminescent signals given off by its prey, such as jellyfish and small crustaceans. This fella is quite an unusual fish, to say the least. Number 5. AlienLike Jellyfish. On one of Noah's research expeditions, scientists discovered a bizarre jellyfish in the Mariana Trench. What's astounding is that scientists believe that this bizarre orb-like jellyfish may be an entirely new species. If you show someone this photo without giving them any context, I bet they'd have a hard time guessing what they're looking at. Rather than a jellyfish, this creature looks more like an alien or glowing toy. Researchers were able to identify this creature as belonging to the genus Crasota, but we still don't know its precise name. That's why researchers believe that this might be an undiscovered species. By observing it while swimming, scientists believe that this jellyfish has an ambush predation mode, where it merely lets itself be carried by the water's movements with its tentacles extended outwards. When prey passes by, the jellyfish would most likely wrap its tentacles around the poor creature before consuming it through its bell. It's astonishing that we still have much about the ocean to uncover. Who knows what else lurks in the deep blue waiting to be found and catalogued. Number 4. A mysterious giant. The Tiburonia granrojo jellyfish, or Tiburon gran rojo, is another worldly creature of the deep ocean, often described as resembling a giant red spaceship gliding through the depths. We know not much about this creature, seeing as it was only discovered in 2003 by researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, or MBARI for short. Gran Rojo resides at depths of 2,000 to 4,800 feet in the ocean's midnight zone. Its numbers are scattered around the world from the Pacific to Baja California to Hawaii and Japan, but due to the depth of its habitat, we don't know the exact number of these creatures. The Gran Rojo jellyfish is an underwater giant, at least for its kind, growing up to 3 feet in diameter. Its bright red hue also makes it distinctive, but scientists are more curious about this creature's biology and lifestyle. Unlike other jellyfish species we've studied before, the Gran Rojo jellyfish doesn't have tentacles. Instead, it has unusual fleshy feeding arms, which means this creature might not hunt or behave the same way as its shallow-dwelling kin. Only a few specimens of the Gran Rojo have been documented, making these creatures one of the most mysterious living in the ocean. Number 3. Toxic, banned a long time ago, found in the Mariana Trench. Polychlorinated biphenyls, or PCBs, were banned in the 1970s because of their hazardous effect on human health and the environment. PCBs were once widely used in electrical equipment like capacitors and transformers, and were also used in hydraulic fluids and lubricants. These materials were versatile and durable, but lethal. Yet even though we imposed a ban on it decades ago, these materials are incredibly persistent and don't break down easily. That's why they're also known as forever chemicals, for their longevity and durability. While that sounds like a good quality, an almost unbreakable material being mass-produced is never a good thing. Space is limited on our planet, after all. It's alarming that these pollutants somehow made it to such a remote and seemingly untouchable part of the Earth. Research shows that PCBs travel through the environment by various routes, including sinking with dead plankton or marine animals. As these creatures decompose, the toxins sink to the ocean floor, becoming part of the sediment and accumulating in deep-sea organisms like amphipods. In fact, some deep-sea crustaceans now show PCB contamination levels comparable to those in highly polluted industrial zones closer to the surface. Number 2. The world's deepest fish. One could argue that these tadpole-looking fish are actually quite adorable, but it's the way they live that makes them terrifying. Researchers at Aberdeen University discovered these creatures at a staggering 27,000 feet below the ocean at the bottom of the Pacific's Mariana Trench. At this depth, these fish set a record for being the deepest fish ever found. With its translucent, scaleless body and eerie pale eyes, the ghostfish has an almost otherworldly appearance. The skin is so clear that you can nearly see right through it. Seeing these fish under harsh light makes it easy to understand how they got their names. The Mariana Trench is one of the most extreme environments on Earth, with crushing pressures and near-total darkness. The ghostfish has adapted to thrive here, but it was never observed alive until the first expedition in 2016. Researchers were particularly excited to see the species alive for the first time. The sighting provided the first evidence that these fish are likely bottom dwellers, contradicting previous theories that they lived higher up in the water column. This means that if we continue exploring the ocean, we might find larger or more bizarre fish. Now that's a possibility that's amazing and terrifying at the same time. Now it's time for today's topic. Researchers are continuously pushing the boundaries of ocean exploration year after year, and recently what they captured in the Mariana Trench shocked the whole world. There's no question that the Mariana Trench is one of the most isolated and unexplored places on the planet. Stretching almost 36,000 feet down into the Pacific Ocean, it's deeper than any other known trench, making it both difficult and dangerous to explore. Less than 5% of the ocean floor has been mapped, and the trench remains a mystery. With that being said, much of its terrain and the creatures calling it home are still undiscovered. Because of the difficulty in exploring it, scientists believe thousands of species living in the trench are yet to be discovered. It's possible that creatures that have adapted in ways that are unimaginable to us reside down there in the deep blue without human detection. Now just take a look at this photo. It looks more like a machine than a sea creature, and people online are mulling over what it is. Could this be an underwater gadget secretly developed by an unknown organization, a misidentified sea creature, or something else? If you have any theories, make sure to share them in the comments down below. Number 1. The Firework Jellyfish. The Firework Jellyfish is a dazzling deep-sea creature that lives about 4,000 to 5,000 feet below the ocean surface. Its name comes from the breathtaking display it creates when illuminated by underwater exploration lights, resembling an explosion of fireworks with vibrant pinks, yellows, and purples. You're probably wondering why this creature has such a vibrant color when invisibility is everything in the abyss. But don't worry, although vibrant and colorful when shown using light, this jellyfish remains almost completely invisible in the natural darkness of the deep sea. If these discoveries don't make you at least a little scared of the ocean, I don't know what will. If you know of other terrifying creatures or discoveries in the abyss, feel free to share them in the comments down below. Also, check out what's appearing on the screen right now.